From this moment on, you will see a new power at work in your life. The power to control. What you want is to be able to control people, to make them do as you wish. That's what you want. And isn't that what you really desire more?
Hi, Dave.
Hello, Nancy. I'm meeting Hugh Wainwright. Has he arrived yet?
Yes, in fact, he got here just a few minutes ago. Come on, I'll show you where he's sitting.
Yes. Hello, Hugh.
Dave.
I'll send a waiter to be with you and take your order.
Thanks, Nancy. Well, thank you for seeing me, especially on such short notice.
My schedule is rather full these days, as you can imagine, but I was glad to do it. After all, I so greatly admired your wife and the causes she worked for. I'm only sorry she didn't endorse me for Congress last time around. Things would have worked out differently for everyone if she had.
Well, that's something we'll never really know.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. Although I don't mind telling you that I'm determined to beat Lee Carruthers, if for no other reason than to see he gets what he deserves. The way he used Kate was shameful.
Well, that's not why I'm here, Hugh.
No, I'm sure it isn't. What can I do for you?
I want to talk about your decision to veto the Rape Crisis Center at Kingsley General.
Ms. Sumner, would you like for me to repeat that question? I asked you about Peter Davidson. You do know him, don't you?
Yes, Peter's one of my friends.
A good friend?
Yes.
Very good friend?
Yes, I don't understand why
Your
you're
Honor,
asking
Mr.
about
Webster
him.
is badgering my client.
Your Honor, I assure you that that is not my intention. I'm just looking for the truth here. Now, Mr. Myers would have us believe that Mrs. Sumner is the innocent party in all this. Now, with your permission, I believe I can demonstrate that that is not the case.
Yeah. Send him right in.
Mr. Carpenter. Gil, I came over to give you the good news personally.
I hope it has something to do with Dave Phillips.
He is now a member of our committee,
Oh, that's excellent.
and he has agreed to head up the relocation project.
I don't know how you did it, Preston, but that's great work.
Yeah, well, now the real work begins.
Did he have anything to say about working so closely with Lee Carruthers?
No. He's more concerned with the welfare of the people of Chesterfield. Asked me to sign a statement guaranteeing the displaced tenants first crack at the new jobs on the dock. When I did that, he gave us his full support, Lee Carruthers and all included. Also, the relocation center will be located at the clinic.
Great. I'm glad you pushed him as hard as you did, Preston, because we need his help right away.
Oh?
Something happened down at the site. A few of the people from the neighborhood were hanging around and asking questions when the men were clearing the southern lot. It seems that they know what's going on, and they don't like it.
My good news travels fast, doesn't it? Well, I think it's time that I make a statement to the press. And when I do, I will make it crystal clear that this project has Dr. Dave Phillips' complete support.
That should handle it.
Sorry, I didn't know you guys were in a meeting. Janice isn't at her desk.
Now, come on in. That's all right. I was just telling Gil how pleased I am that Dave Phillips is going to support the development project in Chesterfield.
Okay, well, I knew he would. That should be good news for you. Prescott Development can finally get going on this thing full speed.
Oh, it is good news for everyone. I'll be in touch later, Gil.
Yes, thanks, Preston.
Oh, Peter, are you aware that Courtney's annulment hearing starts this afternoon?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not happy about it either.
So what's wrong?
Who said anything's wrong? Nothing.
Come on, Peter. I know you and your moods. And I know you didn't come over here to say hello.
3 guesses.
You know me.
Give that man a cigar.
I thought you didn't have anything to do with that anymore.
So did I. But Mr. Webster asked me to come over to his office the other day, give a statement. All the specifics of my relationship with Courtney.
Does that mean you'll have to testify?
Oh, no. Mr. Webster didn't think that would be necessary, but it will be entered into the case. I don't think it's going to look too good for Courtney.
I don't understand. What do you know about my decision concerning the Rape Crisis Center?
I know you turned down the center in favor of a sports medicine wing.
How could you know that? I told your daughter about the sports wing, but I never once mentioned the rape center.
No, it wasn't Stacy.
Then who? Lester Lewis? If that idiot
No, it wasn't Lester. It was Terry Davidson.
That woman had no right to make this public knowledge.
Well, she didn't. I found out because she's my fiancée.
I see. And you're here to change my mind.
Well, I'm here to talk to you about reconsidering your decision, yes.
It's out of the question.
Why?
Because I feel that in the long run, a sports medical center is a greater benefit to the people of Kingsley.
Well, you'll forgive me if I say that that sounds like something out of one of your press statements.
It's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
But what about those who need help dealing with the trauma of rape? Aren't they entitled to it?
They can get it at Memorial Hospital.
Yes, but that's miles away. We need something more immediate.
Have you forgotten about the Brendan Social Service Center?
No, it's a good facility, but it lacks what a hospital can provide.
I'll tell you what I told your fiancée. One day, Kingsley General will have its Rape Crisis Center.
But it will have a medical sports wing first.
Yes.
I wonder how the people will react to all that.
I'm sure that when the facts are known, public reaction will be high. There are a lot of people in this city who want a sports medical center and a pro football team.
Like?
Like Jonathan Townsend, Milton Crawford, and Bud Woodrow, among others.
Oh, very impressive. Not one of them is worth less than $6 million. And I suppose each one of them might want to own a team if it became a reality.
I really couldn't say.
And each one might donate a great deal of money to a political candidate who sponsored such a project.
What are you suggesting?
That there are a lot of people who would benefit from a sports franchise. There's a lot of money to be made. And making money is more important to some people than a rape crisis center. More important than helping women who have been abused and who need support and help at a very critical time in their lives.
The Rape Crisis Center was a bad idea, and I don't regret voting against it.
Deep down, you can't really mean that.
I can, and I do. I know the kind of people who use such facilities.
But what's that supposed to mean?
Really, Doctor, do I have to spell it out? You see those people every day at the clinic.
And you're saying that those people shouldn't be helped?
They're the kind of people who take, and then take more. I once thought that all you needed to get rid of poverty was money. Then I added education, then opportunity. I finally realized that 95% of the poor deserve to be poor because that's all they can handle. Now, you may not like it, but that's the way it is.
That is not the way it is. I work with poor people every day. Now, this community has needs that are not being met. And that sports medical center will mean that they won't be met.
I don't think there's anything further to talk about.
I misjudged you. I thought you were a fair man. A man that would help people. But I know now that you're no different from Leek or others. You have the same slick exterior, the same contempt for the people that you're supposed to be serving. But I agree with you on one thing. There's nothing more to say.
Dave?
Miss! Miss!
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you calling me?
Well, who else do you think I want?
Well, can I help you?
Well, yes, first you can put me at another table. This one shakes. And the ice water is warm. Where's the ice? And where is the waiter? I wanted to order 10 minutes ago. I want service.
Your Honor, you'll see that I have entered a deposition from Peter Davidson about his relationship with Mrs. Sumner. With your permission, Your Honor, I would like to question Mrs. Sumner at this time about that relationship.
Continue, Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Sumner, how would you characterize your relationship with Peter Davidson before your wedding?
We were friends.
You ever go out to dinner with him?
A few times.
How about the movies?
We saw a few.
Dances? Things like that?
No. Well, we went to a Christmas. We were supposed to go to a Christmas dance, but we didn't.
Why was that?
Because Vaughn came into town, and I wanted to be with him.
And yet Peter has told us in his deposition that you did meet up with him later that same evening.
Yes, yeah, I did, but... Well, I felt that I owed him because I had broken our date.
Excuse me, did you say date?
No, it really wasn't.
In view of that, Mrs. Sumner, I wonder if you might not characterize your relationship with Peter as perhaps romantic.
No,
How would you describe it?
platonic.
Did you love Peter Davidson?
I liked him.
That's not the question, Miss Sumner. Did you ever tell Peter Davidson that you loved him?
I'm not sure.
I want to remind you, Miss Sumner, that you're under oath. Did you ever tell Peter Davidson that you loved him?
I may have.
You may have. Miss Sumner, isn't it true now that if Peter Davidson were here right now and I asked him, he would say that you admitted to him that you loved him only days before you were married, and then again, one more time after your wedding?
You don't understand. I didn't know how I felt. My mother was ill. My father was having financial difficulties. Vaughn said he loved me. I wanted my marriage to work.
You wanted it to work? And yet you still saw Peter after you were married?
I was confused. I was depressed and hurt. Peter said that he loved me. I needed to feel loved, and Vaughn couldn't show me that.
So you threw yourself at Peter?
And it wasn't like that. I needed comfort, and Peter gave me that, and that's all he gave me. Afterwards, I decided that I really wanted my marriage to work, so I stopped seeing Peter, and I gave Vaughn the opportunity to prove himself.
Your Honor, in Mr. Davidson's deposition, page 2, paragraph 12, you will notice that he has stated that Miss Sumner did not stop seeing him until after he told her not to see him anymore. Noted. No more questions.
Mr. Myers, do you wish to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Well then, you may step down.
Your Honor, my next witness has not arrived yet. I expect him, though, any moment. I would like to request a short recess, if I may.
Mr. Webster, do you have any objections?
No, Your Honor, I have no objections.
Very well, then. This meeting is in recess for 10 minutes.
How could you do that to me?
Do
How
what?
could you?
Would you calm down?
I need to speak with you, and now.
All right, all right. Not here, huh? Come on.
Why didn't you tell me that Peter was being brought into this? You should have prepared me for that.
You were fine.
How can you say that?
Look, would you lower your voice, please? Harold Webster's probably got his ear to the door there.
He made a fool of me, Dan, and you know it. Were you at all aware that Peter had made a statement?
Yes?
And you didn't do anything about it?
Like what? Listen, Courtney, nothing that Peter Davidson said gives any credence to Harold Webster's accusations. And none of the things that Webster tried to imply has anything to do with the fact that you are seeking an annulment based on the fact that your marriage was never consummated. That's the crux of the issue here.
But you could have at least put me back up on the witness stand and re-examined me to... Well, so I could set things straight.
No, I didn't want to, because I don't buy what happened in Tina's dorm room any more than anybody else does. Plus, I didn't want you to look any more foolish than you already did.
No,
Just save me the declarations of innocence, will you? And listen, the only thing we have to prove is that Vaughn had a problem with impotence prior to and during your marriage. And thanks to Dave Phillips, that's exactly what we're going to do. Just as long as he tells the truth on the stand, your annulment is guaranteed.
Mr. Wainwright, did you enjoy your dinner?
Yes, it was very good.
Oh, I'm sorry Dr. Phillips didn't stay.
I'm not.
Mrs. Smith. What can I do for you now?
Well, you can begin by pronouncing my name correctly. It's Smythe.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Smythe. How can I help you?
This chicken is cold.
Oh, well, I'll have the waiter take it back for you, okay?
Well, I don't want to wait another half hour for my meal. My time is too valuable.
Mrs. Smythe, what would you like me to do?
Don't tempt me, sweetheart.
Look, Mrs. Smythe, I can have the waiter take the chicken back now. I'm sorry it's cold. I don't know what else you want me to do.
Well, you can show a little more interest in your customers, for one thing.
I try my best.
Well, your best just isn't good enough, is it? And if you think I'm paying for this, you've got a surprise coming to you. Oh, warm again. Too bad I can't say the same thing for the chicken.
No, Mrs. Smythe. You're the one that's got the surprise coming to you.
Oh, meaning what?
Meaning you will take out your wallet, and you're going to pay your check, and you're going to leave a very generous tip for the waiter, and you will also tip me. Is that clear?
What?
You've got to be very careful. Mrs. Smythe, that's a very dangerous cough you've got there.
Do you need any help, Nancy?
No, we're doing just fine here. She'll be all right.
Maybe I could pat her on the back.
Mrs. Smythe, tell the waiter you'll be all right.
I'm okay.
Now take out your wallet. Pay your check. Leave a tip for the waiter. And you can tip me. Thank you.
What did you...
I think it's about time you left, Mrs. Smythe.
Yes.
All right, now I want to be sure I understand you here, Dr. Phillips. Are you saying that Vaughn Sumner never gave any indication whatsoever of having been sexually active prior to his coming to see you at the clinic?
That's correct.
Uh-huh. Now, is this something that he actually said, or are you assuming, or what?
Well, Vaughn told me that he hadn't had a relationship with a woman up to that time.
I see.
And as I mentioned before, he specifically came to the clinic because of his impotency.
Uh-huh. Now, did he use that word himself?
Yes?
Tell me this, Dr. Phillips, at any time prior to his wedding, did he ever mention having had sexual relations with Courtney or with anyone else?
No.
Thank you. Thank you for your answers. No more questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Webster. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Phillips, you keep records on all your patients at the clinic?
Yes?
So you would have had and do have a file on Vaughn Sumner?
Yes, I do, but he did use an assumed name to start with.
What was that name?
Vic Sanders.
Did he ever tell you why he did that?
He said he was embarrassed. He didn't want anybody to find out about his problem.
I see. Now, in your deposition, you had stated that a period of 11 days passed from the last time you saw Vaughn Sumner until the day of his wedding. Is that right?
That's right.
Is it possible that he could have had a sexual liaison in that interim period?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled, but I will note it, Mr. Myers. Dr. Phillips, I'm interested in the answer to your question.
I suppose it's possible.
Thank you. Now, you also stated in response to one of Mr. Myers' questions earlier that Mr. Sumner's impotence was psychological in origin. You still stand by that?
Yes?
Is it possible that those psychological barriers could have been broken down and that he could have had normal sexual relationships?
Well, I suppose it's possible.
Thank you very much. I don't have any more questions.
Mr. Myers, do you wish to redirect?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Phillips, did you see Vaughn Sumner after his wedding?
Yes?
And why was that?
Well, he said he still needed help with his impotency and sterility.
Uh-huh. Then he did tell you that he had not had relations with his wife.
That's right.
So after the wedding, tell me this, did he ever mention another woman?
No.
No, did he ever even give a hint that he had had relations with another woman prior to or subsequent to his wedding to Courtney Sumner?
No.
I want to ask you one more thing, Dr. Phillips. You said just a minute ago that it was possible that Vaughn had had sexual relations. Would you say it was probable?
In my opinion, it is not.
Objection, Your Honor. Your Honor, Dr. Phillips said he was just stating an opinion.
I'm going to overrule that, Mr. Webster. Because of Dr. Phillips' background and his knowledge of Mr. Sumner, I'm going to let the question and the answer stand.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Dr. Phillips, let me ask you this. After the wedding, did Vaughn Sumner seem just overwhelmed by the continuing problem of his impotence?
Well, overwhelmed is a little strong.
Well, all right, let me ask you another way. During the entire period that you treated Vaughn Sumner, was there ever a time when he was not afraid of being impotent?
No, there was not.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.